Welcome to NorCal Tea Party Radio.
All across the nation, the party's just begun. Voices speaking loud and clear, there are battles to be won. Gathered here to reunite, join the revolution, 'cause we are strong and standing tall, upholding the Constitution. We the people say.
And now the host of We the People NorCal Tea Party Radio is Ginny Rapini. Jenny is the coordinator of the NorCal Tea Party.
Welcome to We the People Radio. NorCal Tea Party welcomes you today. And I want to just give you a little bit of insight into who we are as a Tea Party and what we stand for, because there's so much misconception out there. We stand for three core values: fiscal responsibility, constitutionally limited government, and the free markets. It can't get more simple than that, and it's hard to disagree with that as far as I'm concerned. Another thing that differentiates us from some of the other Tea Party groups out there is that we are connected to no political party. We feel both have lost their way, and we are just conservatives trying to bring back our founders' values to our country. Our sponsor this month is Del Rapini, and if you recognize that last name, yes, he is my husband. He is a developer, but he is also fighting for personal property rights for you. Our guest this week is Assemblywoman Shannon Grove. She is one of the few good people in Sacramento, and she is on the road right now and graciously called into our show. Welcome, Assemblywoman Grove.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. I hope you are too. Sounds like you're very busy.
It's just been a little bit of a hectic morning, but you know what? Fresno really came through, and we got thousands of signatures today, and it was phenomenal.
What were those signatures for?
Those signatures are for a ballot measure for a part-time legislature.
Oh, yay!
I know. It has four components. You know, limit their time there to stop inflicting damage on our state, limit their pay, limit their ability to get a state board or commission and still continue to get a taxpayer position. They have to live in the real world under the rules that they create and give us a 2-year balanced budget.
Oh, my word. You're going to have some have a heart attack with that one.
Well, it's for the people of the state of California, and the people are behind it, and the people want it.
Yes, we do. I want to ask you a question, if you can give us an answer on this one. What do you believe is the overall state of our state?
You know, I think our state is in a huge mess. You know, when we look at slipping to the 10th largest economy, where I know we're the 9th now, but we're possibly going to be slipping to the 10th. And, you know, when we had a part-time legislature, we used to be 5th largest economy, and our economic situation is in dire straits, and we're in a huge mess. And it's mainly man-made by the legislators that have been in that building for over 40 years since we've had professional legislators. And we need to stop that. And so that's why I introduced this ballot measure.
Well, do you ever get discouraged? I know you know more about the ins and outs of what's going on in Sacramento than we do, and I get discouraged. And I look at this as such a huge mountain to climb. Do you get discouraged that all your efforts might be for naught, that we can never really change California, or are you optimistic?
I do. It is a little bit discouraging, but not anything that we can't tackle. You know, the great citizens of California, when the people rise up to take back what's been stolen from them by government legislators over a period of professional legislators for 40 years, you know, what will happen is that we will have the opportunity to take back our state. And so when there's no way I could be discouraged when I went into a petition drive in Fresno today where thousands of people came through the drive-thru and just took petitions and got signatures. It was just amazing. We gave out 2,000 petitions in a 2-hour period.
Wow. I need you to send me some of those, because we've done many drive-through petition signings, and we'll do another one.
Absolutely. I would love to be able to get it. And, you know, people were coming up giving you $10, $5, just helping, and there's over $2,000 given in a 2-hour time frame.
Wow.
Just from people coming off the streets and driving through, giving you $5 and $10. This is truly a people's initiative.
And you know what's amazing about this, too, is that how many people have become enlightened about the severity and the crisis that we're facing in California and what must be done about it.
I agree. I think the people of the state of California and our nation are waking up to, maybe they didn't follow politics or they weren't concerned about it as much, but I see a grave concern. Ronald Reagan used to say that we're one generation away from losing our freedoms, and I believe we're one election away from losing our freedoms, and I think people are waking up to take back their state and their nation.
I agree with that, too. I believe that this is the most important election since the American Revolution. And I hope that and I do believe we are going to make headway in this election, but I also hope then that people don't, wipe their forehead and say, oh, phew, we dodged that bullet. Now we can get back to ignoring what's going on. I hope we stay engaged.
We have to stay engaged. It's so imperative to make sure that we continue to stay engaged and stay on top of things so that, legislators and government cannot run our lives into the hole that they've ran it into.
Right. Now, tell us about AB 333. Tell us a little bit about that.
AB 333 was the first bill that I introduced, and it was just really exciting. And the reason why I say it was exciting is because when I decided to run for office, Jeremiah 33:3 was one of my favorite scriptures that was given. And so it was really interesting. And you say that, is things happening that, that make a difference. And I had a really horrible day in Sacramento, and I got back on the road to come home, and my office called and said, you need to come into the office. We're doing a press release. You need to sign it. And I said, all right. And I went into the office, so discouraged about what happened in Sacramento that day. And I got to the office, and it says Assemblywoman Grove releases her first bill, AB 333. And I just thought, wow, if that's not someone telling me that I'm getting God's favor, I don't know what is.
Tell us what that bill was.
What it was a delay for CARB to have to act on their greenhouse gas and punitive punishments that they have in place right now for cap and trade, because CARB is not ready. And so it was just allowing CARB to be able to extend out a period of time that they didn't have to, punitively enforce AB 32. And so that actually it didn't pass. However, they did, because of that bill, bring Mary Nichols into a commission hearing, and she did agree not to provide any punitive damages or enforcement action for the first year. So we do have a 1-year delay.
Right. Now, how does AB 598 fit into that?
AB 598 failed in committee, and it was actually something that wasn't passed, but that was, again, to address the misuses of CEQA and the issues that we have on the environmental side of abuses. I think we all need to be good stewards of the land. I think we all need to understand that, we need to be good stewards of the land. And 598 talked about the prevailing wage issues and how CEQA is abused by people seeking other remedies of cause, like union agreements, project labor agreements, and not actually because of the environmental issues.
Now, with these CARB issues in AB 32, there have been a few setbacks for them, not us. But
yes.
Do you have any hope of turning that around, AB 32?
Right now I believe it's against the Constitution. It violates the Interstate Commerce Clause. So I believe that it is against the Constitution, and I'm hoping that, that will be addressed. I'm hoping that, things will be addressed in that area and that it can be stopped in the courts.
And we also have a friend that you've probably met, Eric Eisenhammer, with the Coalition of Energy Users, who is very active in fighting against the CARB overtake of our state. And
he is a phenomenal individual. I think I met him at an iCaucus and another event, so he is a phenomenal individual.
Yes, he is, and he's a great help to us at the Tea Party. And we also have, NorCal has a committee called Politics and Science. and we just happen to have a physicist that's on that committee, and he regularly, they spend their time dealing with these CARB issues, and they attend every hearing that there is, and they usually only get 2 minutes to speak. But when they do speak, I'll tell you, this little committee head, Ed Duffick, is in his 80s, and he just rocks them back on their feet and leaves them speechless. So,
it's so amazing to listen to people that come and talk to CARB. There was a hearing up in Sacramento where a lady was addressing some food processors, and this one guy goes, I'm not going to be able to meet the standards. There's not technology out there available to make it happen. What do I do? And he's, other than lay off employees. And she goes, no, we don't want you to do that. You can just buy down your credits. So it's just a revenue source is all it is. And they just look at you like with this blank stare saying, that's why we have cap and trade, so you can buy down your credits. And it's just amazing how they just don't even look at the issue of employment in this state.
That's right. And they have no idea with all these regulations that they're placing on small businesses as they're going to put us out of business.
But that's why I see that it violates the Interstate Commerce Clause, because it's not imposed on products that are made in Nevada or any other state. And then so those companies can come in and they do business here in California, so they wouldn't be complying with that, but yet California businesses would.
Well, California has all kinds of rules and regulations that no one in the country has, right?
Exactly.
What do you think what is the time frame on this initiative for part-time legislators that we have to work with here?
We have to get all of our signatures turned in and gathered by mid-June. They have to be turned in at the end of June to the Secretary of State's office and all the county petitions or the county offices. But just so you know, I am bringing Lord on back to AB 32. I'm bringing Lord Monckton here from England.
Oh wow! Yeah, we know
he's coming to this. You know who he is?
Yes.
Well, he's going to be here in mid-March, March 20th, 21st. I'm finalizing the date. You contact me, and we are trying to allow them to let us have a hearing in the state capitol. No, they may not let us have a hearing there. We may have to go across the street because they won't let us do it. We're waiting to get permission. But we are bringing Lord Monckton here, and we have asked Mary Nichols to participate. We have not got confirmation for that. We are sending an invitation out to Davis professors who profess AB 32 is the savior of the world, and we are going to make sure that Lord Monckton has the opportunity to get into a discussion with them.
Well, we will put out the word on that as well if it's going to be open to the public, because we can flood that place for you. We're up against a break. If you can hang on for just a moment. You are listening to NorCal Tea Party, We the People Radio, right here on KTKZ. And we will be back with Assemblywoman Shannon Groves.